Hello and welcome to another episode of Dumb and Dumbest, a music industry podcast with your beautiful co-hosts Curtis Dewar and me, Matt Bacon. Curtis would also like you to know he's wonderful.
Yes.
This is a music industry podcast where everything is terrible and the house is on fire. Today we're talking about coordinating with other people in your team.
Yes. Coordination is vital. But we're all guilty of not doing it at the same time.
It's hard. There's a lot of layers to it.
There is. But we do want to bring up that coordination is a factor, because especially when you're doing campaigns or you're doing a tour or whatever, everybody does need to be in tight coordination. If there's all these chiefs, and nobody's really coordinating anything and they're just operating on their own plan, nothing gets done and you actually end up fucking up other people up.
Yeah. And that's an important thing to realize. And it's interesting because there's been some times, specifically on some of the biggest things Curtis and I have worked on together. Oh God, I don't know what my phone is doing. The biggest things that Curtis and I have worked on together, were like military operations.
But they don't always go smooth at the same time.
They don't. But they still were like military operations.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's important. Like, it was like literally down to the second. Like, I remember I was the guy who uploaded all the assets for the new Enslaved record. And I remember being there and it was just like this weird, crazy, like, this is happening.
Yeah.
It's a important thing to have a handle on, I think. And I think a lot of people sort of let it fall apart.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it does, even with your best efforts. I've fucked up things in the past. I've fucked up premieres where the German premiere goes live at 3 p.m. German time, and I thought it was 11 p.m. Eastern time, and I ended up being an hour off. That's happened to me twice now with different time zones.
Yeah, and that happens on very high levels too, actually. That's like a fairly common issue to have in my experience. Has happened with multiple big labels I work with. There's actually labels I know who don't like to do co-label releases because coordinating, especially across time zones, is so hard.
Yeah, it's terrible. But and also when you got daylight savings time involved too, that can fuck you up because you're thinking from last year that it's 5 hours ahead, but in reality there's 6 or whatever. It gets mental. So everybody does fuck up, but the point is that, can I give you an example? Is that okay?
Yeah, I don't care. Go.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if there was something, if I cut you off, but okay. So here's a good example is that, let's say that you're about to do a promo campaign, and there's certain things that you want to make sure you tell your publicist about. Like, for example, pre-orders are going up. I've had plenty of bands not tell me the pre-orders were going live that day. I had no fucking clue. I find out a week later, a couple days later on my Instagram feed or my Facebook feed. Like, oh, pre-orders went up. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. Oops. Or, they uploaded the lyric video. They didn't tell me. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Or, I arrange a premiere and then they make the video live the day before, and then they don't go. And then half the time, most of these guys go, oh, I didn't even think to tell you. Or it was an out coordination from a certain band member just doing it without coordinating with everyone else. That's usually more the case.
Yeah, well, it's important, again, I think, to remember that, Curtis and I are going to work between us. Curtis and I between us will probably work 100, if not more, records this year.
I've probably already done that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we're not, we know how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to hurt you. I have plans to help you, not to harm you, says the Lord.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. It's very easy to think, and the problem is that, yes, there are people who are clowns and who don't know what they're doing, so it's very hard to use your judgment, because obviously you don't want to get fucked over and you want to get the most bang for your buck.
Yep.
How do you?
I want to mention before you go on, just so I don't forget, is if you're ever wondering if you should tell your manager or publicist about something that you got going, do it. And then if they don't care, that's fine, but just err on the side of caution.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
But how do you tell, Curtis, this kind of touches into a deeper question, is how do you tell if your manager or publicist is a clown?
Well, they're not doing anything, period. I mean, that's the main thing, or they're continuously doing stupid things. I mean, you and I have both done stupid things and fucked up. Everybody does. But the way that you can tell if they're a clown is like, are they consistently not getting results? Like, I could be a clown, you can be a clown, but at the same time, it's like, are you consistently a clown? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's nobody's going to be perfect with these with anything. So we're all going to fuck up every once in a while. But the main thing you want to do is, are they getting you results? If they're not getting you results, why aren't they getting you results? Is there no interest from people right now? Are they trying their best and nothing's happening? Are they just sitting around drinking coffee all day and playing video games? You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
which is a very tempting proposition.
and you know what? I'm sure there's lots of publicists that do that and managers. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You know, they don't answer emails for like a week and then don't know what you're talking about when they finally do answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's unfortunate. So, you know, I think honestly, this is part of why I always recommend, like, you know, Curtis and I talk about getting in touch with people and like building a personal relationship. Part of that is to make sure that the people you are working with are the real deal.
Yeah.
You know, like you can tell, like if you go on Facebook and someone's posting about all their non-music hobbies and like they clearly don't have anything going on, well then you know.
Yeah.
You know.
And also, are they staying in touch with you? Like, I'm not, like with me, I'm not constantly messaging bands. Like, if there's nothing going on at the time and I don't have anything to report, a lot of times I won't say anything. But, you know, are they not saying anything, period? You know what I mean? Is a big key thing. Right?
Yeah.
Not
that's
like
important.
Yeah, like, are they ever sending you reports? Are they ever talking to you? Do they never respond to an email? Like, if you originate something to them, do they not respond back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to circle back, what was the topic of the episode again?
Coordination.
Coordination. Right. Oh my God. See,
Yeah.
we lacked our coordination in remembering the topic of this episode.
I remember that.
Well, that's why we had you. This is also why it's important to send a lot of emails so that you can go back in the chain and see like where the issues are.
Oh, that's one key thing. Don't originate a new email chain each time, because then otherwise I forget shit all the time if it's not an email. Other thing too, if you message me on Facebook and you plunk something I need in the conversation, 99.9% of the time I'm going to forget it, because if I'm out and I'm on my phone and I just see the message and I want to acknowledge you, I'm going to forget about it.
Yeah.
So it's key. You could message it on Facebook, but also follow it up with an email, especially if you don't hear back from me within the day. There's a good chance I probably forgot about it. That's a coordination method too, right there.
Yeah, I'm frequently, at the end of every day, I generally sift back through my Facebook messages from the day, and there's usually probably in the low thousands, you know.
Yeah.
But I just try to like look at every name, and you know, I think it's also important to just take constant or notes and reminders for yourself.
I agree.
You know, so that way you don't slip stuff up.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, like if, for example, you do send a message to somebody that it has something important and you don't hear back from them, you should always do a follow-up with them, because there is a good chance that somehow slipped through the cracks, and that happens to everybody. Like I said, that happens to me with Facebook messages a lot of the times.
Yep.
And I know it happens to other people with email too.
Yep.
So
lots of stuff slips into your crack, Curtis.
I know. Yeah, I know. In between in your butt crack too, Matt.
Yes. Okay. We were making jokes about butts. Anyway, to head towards. Okay. Yeah. So, are we ready to head towards the end, or do we have more to go over with this particular topic?
I don't really want to beat it to death, but just coordination. Make sure, like, one key point is making sure there's one person in the band that is the focal point rather, as coordination point for between you and your manager, or you and your publicist.
And this usually happens on its own.
Yeah.
And I'll say like big labels and stuff, they'll even say that in the contract. You know,
Yeah.
like right there, it'll be like, oh, well, you need to, you need to tell us the one person we talk to, and that person is the person, and it's
Yeah.
set up so that it can be either a manager or a band member.
Exactly.
That's the goal, is like, you don't want, you want everyone to know exactly who to talk to. And like, yes, that can lead to a power imbalance, and you need to talk about that. You can't just assume that there isn't going to be a power issue.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean? People
one
want to
thing,
feel comfortable.
one thing that has frustrated me in the past, it hasn't happened to me in a little while, but I have had it in the past where my contact point has been my contact point, and then I'll get another band member suddenly messaging me telling me no, they want to do something else. I'll do that, and then I'll find out that nobody else agreed to it. So that's why I'm saying just one person, channel everything through the one person to your point of contact for publicity or for management or whatever the heck it is.
Yeah, otherwise it gets very aggravating. And also, like, realize that most, like Curtis probably gets like a few hundred emails a day.
Yeah, probably. Well, in the dozens, I'd say, maybe not hundreds, but yeah.
So like, he's not, he's not looking for more emails. More emails is not going to get you further.
Yeah.
It's just going to drown you.
Yeah, but here's one thing though too, is that if someone messages me and they don't hear back, message me through a different platform. I don't mind that. So like if you try to email me, you
Yeah.
don't hear for some reason, try me on Facebook because there's a good chance I missed an email. Or if you message me on Facebook, try email or try Twitter or try Instagram, try something, because there's 99.9% of the time the reason why I didn't message you back is I missed it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't mind. And that happens to everybody. So if you message me on 2 different platforms and I still don't respond, I'm probably dead.
Yeah. If I don't hear from Curtis every 3 hours, I call 911. And I say, my friend from the internet, who I've never met in person, but who befriended me when I was a teenage boy, I think he's dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool.
Uh-huh.
So now that we've talked about Curtis's affiliation for teenage boys and responding on time, what do you have to plug?
What did I have today? I had something today. Death on Fire released a video today over at Indie
That's
Metal Vault.
excellent.
Yeah. So head on over to Indie Metal Vault. Check out the video. I have a couple things tomorrow, which is escaping my mind. I know Hypnos is out tomorrow, and there's something else. And
Hypnos they're the French band, right?
Hypnos? No, they're Sweden. They're like a traditional metal band from Sweden. They're supposed to be up at Decibel tomorrow. And I'm blanking on what the second thing is because I'm not near my computer, and I'm going to remember as soon as I get off the phone, and that band's probably going to give me shit for forgetting. But Death on Fire and Hypnos.
That's okay, because that means they're listening. And if they're listening, they're coordinating.
That is true. This is very true.
So, yeah, anyway, I've got a whole bunch of things. Right now, let's just talk about Prophecy Fest coming up in a few days, 6 weeks. It's in New York City. I know a lot of you guys are in New York City or are considering coming out. Remember that, you've got Alcest playing the smallest room Alcest will ever play again. You're never going to see Alcest in a 300-person room again. You toss in Year of the Cobra, I have Nyx, who are truly spectacular, Crowhurst, KO Dot, November's Doom, which is a rare U.S. appearance for those guys. Zaster is playing, and then he's making some moves. There's some nice little surprises that should be coming out, So, point being,
wear your Nickelback shirt there.
Wear your Nickelback shirt. This is a pretty once-in-a-lifetime little event we've got going on here. And, yeah, man, just try to come out if you can. You'll get a free compilation, like a free CD. It's really nicely put together. I put it up on my Instagram the other day. If you follow me on the Instagram, this is incentive to follow me.
What's the date?
What?
What's the date of the fest? I didn't hear it.
Oh, November 2nd and 3rd.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Please realize that if you have any questions at all, we will direct, we will answer them on the podcast. We could even do like a questions episode.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yes, Curtis. This is why I'm paid the big bucks.
This is why you're coordinating about it right now.
Exactly. So if you want to ask us a question, DM us, comment, whatever, and we will answer it on a upcoming future episode. And hopefully that can be, hopefully that can generate some interest in this whole shindig. Anyway, thank you for listening. Make good choices.
Well, hold on. If no one does it, can we just make up the questions?
If no one does it, we might just make up questions, and the questions will all be from people we know. So if we know you and you're listening to this podcast, Nathan Christensen, we're going to make a question in your name unless you ask one.
Sweet. I like it. Are we done yet or what?
Jesus Christ.